So we were talking about the heart and what happens with the heart, and if we could pretend that this bottle is our heart, and if we were filling our heart up with love and joy every day before we start our day, then there's certain things that we would do, because if we don't have our heart full, what happens is we start disconnecting by giving pieces of our heart away. And if you can see, the bottle is now half full because perhaps I'm giving to my children, or to my parents, or to my partner, and I've already given away half of my heart before I've even started. So the key, I believe, is coming back and filling up your heart, like filling up your bottle every day with nourishment of love and joy. And to do that, we need to be in our heart. So if we're to feel our heart, there's a process for that as well, and that's through meditation, to reconnect to who we truly are. Now, if we fill our bottle, again, like I was saying, fill the bottle, and it's like if there's bits overflowing that are left, that's what we give to others. And that's not being selfish, that's being kind, because if our heart is flourishing and full of love and full of joy and happy, those around us will feel that energy of love and joy, and they become that with you. If you're not, a bit like if you're a little bit disconnected and maybe in the grey, or the feeling of anger or resentment or guilt or shame, they're all very grey and low energy, low vibration. If we're in that, and we're around certain people, then the idea is to remove yourself from that and fill your heart with love and joy, because it's actually not good. It's not good for you to be in low vibrational energy that will deplete your heart. It's not good for your heart. It doesn't nourish your heart. It doesn't nourish you, and it disconnects you from who you truly are. So does that make sense?
Yeah,
the way that I'm explaining that, because so for example, in a relationship, if we're feeling disconnected from ourselves, and we start looking externally of what it could be, or naming or shaming or blaming someone else or something else, like our environment, then we're actually disconnected, because it's not our happiness and joy does not come or rely on others to fulfill us, or fill our bottle, or fill our heart. The bottle's just a metaphor, but yeah, if we're to fill our heart, we wouldn't rely on others to do that, because then we're attaching to them to give us our love and joy. We actually have it. If anybody has watched my previous videos on when we're born with it. We didn't rely on someone else to give us that. We already knew how to be happy and be playful and be joyful, be in ourself of who we are. So another way to explain it is, if we're going to top ourselves up with our love and joy, we can only do that when we're in our own environment, of which maybe, if I'll just share with you what I share with others, is I give them a 5-minute meditation to reconnect to their hearts through breath, because breath is healing. It's a healing. It's where we're deeply connected to Mother Nature, and that is an element that's ancient, like thousands of years ago in ancient scriptures. It's recorded, and before that it was just passed down. We're deeply connected to Mother Earth through our prana, or our breath, and that's healing. So if we're to connect to our heart, we actually need to do a little practice daily and sit within ourselves, because we need to gauge it, so we know the difference of when we're not topping up our heart and not nourishing our heart with love and joy. without blaming or blaming something or someone else, and we can go within ourselves and find it and bring ourselves back to that through breath, because it's our thoughts that are normally taking us and disconnecting us.
So, but what if, because I feel like I try to do that, and not to be in a place of blame, but I feel like because maybe my partner sometimes is in a place of anguish or anger or something like that, he'll kind of put it on me, and then I'm left with that.
Okay, so that's when we set boundaries. And if we're feeling joyful and the person that we're with isn't, whether it be a partner or our children or our parents or anyone, if you're feeling joyful and they're not, we've got a choice. We can either set a boundary and say, hey, you know, and if you put your hand up like that, a person, body language will tell that person to stop whatever they're doing, and they will for a few seconds. So it gives you an opportunity to say, hey, you're sounding angry, or you're sounding like perhaps you're anxious about something. And you don't want to jump into it with them. If you have like a mutual agreement with your partner, you would say something like, well, when you're out of it, maybe perhaps what are the things that you can think about doing that will connect you back to you? So it's like you've already done the work on yourself, and you know how to top your heart up and bring yourself back into your love and joy through doing the exercises and the practices that I'm teaching you today. So, for example, you would say, for a balanced relationship, you would say perhaps to the person, I know my happiness does not rely on what you say or do. My happiness relies on what I say and do. So whenever I feel disconnected, I'm just letting you know that I will step away and do my own practice until I come back to me, which is my love and joyful self, because that's who I truly am. And with that, I would like you to do the same, because if we're both in agreement that that's how it works, we're going to have a beautiful, loving relationship that's always flourishing and nourishing. Because you're doing that by yourself, like taking yourself away to nourish and feed your heart, your joy and your love, and keep it topped up with nourishing, because nourishing thoughts, the thoughts need to be nourished as well to feed the heart and feel your joy again. So when you do it, then it's like you're teaching someone else. So if that person is not aware, whether it be your partner, children, or whoever, that they need to do that.
So it's kind of like each person in the relationship or dynamic takes responsibility for their own
happiness.
Yeah.
Your happiness lies in your heart. It doesn't lie in your head, and it does not lie in another person or a place. It relies totally on how you feel within you. So your happiness and joy is within you. And I think when we acknowledge that that's what it is, that's when we can take the responsibility and set boundaries to a particular person, whether it be your partner or others, and remove ourselves from situations that aren't nourishing for our heart and our soul. Because if it's not nourishing, life force energy or divine energy, or that divine connection that we have in our heart and the universe, is lost. It no longer can flow through. It no longer can come to us or through us. So that I think the more we do this practice, the quicker we can get back to who we truly are, which is our love and joy, and that's how we want to live. Who doesn't want to live a peaceful, joyful, happy, loving life? But it starts within, so it's like connecting, reconnecting. Where is my inner peace? Where's my inner spirit? Where is my joy and inner happiness? Am I feeling that today? Because these are all feelings. We're feeling emotional beings. And words like well-being, well, if you split those, well, how well is my being? Your being is your inner you. That's well-being. Yeah.
I think like something that is really on my mind is, you know, and again, I really don't want to be in a place of blame or anything like that, but, you know, being in certain environments or being around certain people help you just be in a happier space, or the opposite.
Yeah.
And I guess what's on my mind is if I'm feeling like pain in my heart when I'm around my partner so often, you know, maybe to just not be with him or not be around him, you know.
Yeah, if he's not, it works a little bit like this. So if we're looking at the frequency of energy, if his energy is low, say we could give it like 100, let's gauge it at 100, is fear.
Okay.
And under fear sits all those anxiety, depression, disconnection, guilt, shame, and there's many other words, blame. Yeah, any of those that are, I call them shadow or darkness. And what we want to get to is that if we're in the dark or the shadow, we want to get to the light. It's like walking into a room of darkness and you switch the light on, everything becomes bright. Or if you light a candle in a dark room, what do you notice? You notice the light. So bringing yourself back to the love and light, and it's about you. So if someone's frequency is lower than yours and you want to lift yours up and keep it uplifted, it's up to you to either remove yourself from that situation or work out a way to bring yourself back to your joy. And eventually either that person will come up there with you or they won't. And it'll get to the stage where if they're not going to, what will happen is to keep your vibration up, you work it out that vibrational, low vibrational person is not good for you. Doesn't mean you don't have to be with them. It means that you are very aware, you have become very aware of energy, and that we are energy beings, emotional beings, and how on an emotional scale how it all works. So to be uplifted, if we looked at love is around about 500 on a frequency, and fear and all of those that sit under fear are under 100 or under, and you want to keep yourself up to 500, there needs to be certain things that are done to do that, and it's like a daily practice. But we look at if we're looking at people without judgment, that they are there to teach us. So if someone is they're running at low frequency, if we use the word frequency quite loosely, we would say they're there to teach me what I don't want, to get me to where I do want. What I would prefer is not being in low frequency, because there's no joy in that. There's no love in that. There's no compassion. There's no forgiveness in that. There's all blame, shame, guilt, all of those darkness. So to rise that up, bring that up, I want to be in my love and joy and happy. How do I do that? Well, we bring ourselves back to us solely, to go solely within us. That's why meditation is so good. Whether it be in a group and guided, if it's guided the right way, you can come into your heart very, very quickly through if there's a teacher that's aware of how energy works, they will bring you into your heart very, very quickly, and which is a great gauge of, okay, that's my joy, that's my happy. I want to hold that as long as I can, because I know there'll be times when the grey or the low energy vibration, whether that be a person or an incident or a location, is going to bring my energy down, and I need to work out a way how, or ways or tools. I say have a spiritual toolbox. Now that could be anything. I'll just reach over here and grab this. This is just my glass case, for example. So if this was a spiritual treasure chest and you were going to put golden gems in here, now the golden gems are what's going to uplift you and bring you back to your happy and joyful state, your well-being, keeping you well, keeping you nourished. And then you think of something. I'll use my glasses. So one thing, just tell me what one thing that you can think of right now that gives you joy. It could be a person, it could be a moment with a person, it could be a thing.
Yoga.
Okay.
Yoga really gives me joy.
Yoga. So there's one. So we'll put one in the spiritual treasure chest. Can you think of maybe another?
Like studying my herbalism books.
Okay, so reading.
Yeah.
Reading gives you joy.
Yeah.
What about Mother Nature?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
The
like
ocean.
the trees.
Yeah. So there, we can put those in there. So now we have 4 things in our spiritual treasure chest that we can rely on that's going to bring us back to our joy and inner peace, our happiness, our fun stuff. And when we do that, when we have things ready that we can after a little while, the mind will automatically say when we're in low vibration, it'll bring us straight back to where we need to be, and that's in our heart, the love and the peacefulness and the freedom that you feel, the lightness. Because we just know when we're not in it to bring us back to when we're in it. It's like the law of polarity. That's how it works. It's a universal law. You can't have darkness, without lightness. Otherwise, light would not exist. So we need a little bit of that to sort of like shake us up a little bit and go, you're a bit off track today.
Yeah.
Go back to it. And the more we do it, the better we become at it.
And potentially I've, attracted this like slightly dysfunctional person and relationship into my life after a period of like really being in my light space to kind of reinforce how good it is to be in the light and to not take it for granted so much, maybe.
Well, let's change that to I have this amazing person in my life who vibrates at a different frequency to me. He's in a more low energy. However, he's my biggest teacher because he's teaching me of what I don't prefer. So what you don't prefer, you have to have something or someone to put you there, to bring you back up to what you do prefer. So if we start looking at all the good reasons why, that's nourishing, that's healthy, that's health and well-being, that's holistic. We're drawing on all these things to bring us back to who we truly are, to source of who we are. So if we looked at well-being as a person in our life, and we're not agreeing, if I can use that word loosely, agreeing that they should be something else and not who they are, we are disconnected. Because their path is their path.
Right.
And if we're looking at spirituality, we're all here for a purpose and a reason. And to get to our life purpose, we need to have experiences, both good and not so good. And whether they be with other people or in places, it's not for us to say about another and their path. Their path is their path. And I say path, not journey, because a journey means there's a destination, and we don't have a destination because we're eternal beings. It's a journey that we're having with experiences of different things, different people, different environments. So anybody can, a bit like, I think it was Wayne Dyer, I read in one of his books, or Byron Katie maybe, and they say you put a person in jail and they just want to get out of there and escape and they don't want to be there. You put a monk in jail and lock him away, he says thank you. Because he's able to go within himself and find the love and joy in any situation. And I'm not saying we all become monks. What I'm saying, I'm using that as an example to say this can be simple, we just make it hard, we make it difficult. So if we can learn to pull ourselves into a position of joy and love and feel that, without feeling someone else's energy to interfere with our own energy and who we truly are, and what our heart actually is, which is a beautiful, we are all beautiful, and we all have beautiful hearts, each and every one of us. No one misses out on that. It's just over time we are told something different, or to do things in a different way, which is no one's fault or blame. It's about they just didn't know that there was a better way. If they had known, they would have done it in a different way. We're now coming to a stage, this is the ascension that we're going through. So people who are feeling a bit shaky and their energy doesn't feel right with someone or a place, it just means that they're on their right path. They just need to come back into their heart and align with that. And as soon as you do, everything else will just fall into place. You'll become who you truly are, and you'll find life purpose in what you're here to do. You can't not, because it means you're divinely connected with, doesn't matter what you want to call him, God, divine energy, the universe. Some people will just say, the planets. There's so many different names, but it's divine, beautiful energy flowing to you and giving you joy. It's a feeling. It's an energetic feeling that runs through us, and I had a taste of that when I died, and it was such a beautiful, beautiful feeling. It's a feeling you don't want to come out of, but we get that many times. We just don't connect with it enough. We get that many times while we're living. We just choose to allow our thoughts to come in to take us out of that, and unless we're aware, we'll keep doing that and not coming back. So the idea is to flip it over and start coming back to our joy, and more will come.
I feel so driven by my thoughts in this moment. I mean, like this phase of my life, and it's just like, I feel like because I'm so in my head and driven by my thoughts, that in a way they start influencing my heart space, and like it's almost like my thoughts create anguish for me to feel. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, because a lot of people that I see that come to me they explain it, maybe a little differently, but it means the same thing. Yeah. So if I was to draw you two thoughts on a piece of paper, one being, let's say, Hitler, the word Hitler. You think of the word Hitler, how do you feel when I say that word?
Not very good.
No. So notice the feeling with that thought?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try another one. Mother Teresa.
Better, much better.
Can you associate and relate to that thought now, thinking Mother Teresa with that feeling?
Yeah, like...
Yeah. See? That's the difference. So, and you can do, if I want to get really playful with it, I could say Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Pick one. Which one do you want, There's so many things you could use as a metaphor, as a reminder that, wow, that's pretty dark. And I mean, I get things shake me up. I have people, not my clients, but I can go out and someone might say something to me, because I talk really airy-fairy sometimes and loving and, angelic, talk about angels. I might talk about unicorns, and because I like it. It makes me feel good. But sometimes it doesn't make others feel good for whatever reason, and they'll purge something dark. They might say things like, oh, that's ridiculous.
Right.
Unicorns don't exist. Well, in my world they do, because they make me feel good.
Yeah.
Seeing one makes me feel good because it reminds me of children. It reminds me of beautiful things. And that's the key. Don't allow someone else's energy through words, because words are energy, to purge how they're feeling at you, because if they're purging those words, there's something deep inside them that they need to sort out. They're just not aware of that.
Right, yeah. Well,
they just think they're right.
This is the kind of thing my partner does. He'll really poo-poo things that that I'm interested in, or he'll dismiss me and ridicule me sometimes, you know. And I guess that's a good way of thinking. It's actually like coming from his pain body, and it's got nothing to do with me. You know, because the things that I'm interested in and the things that I'm doing are giving me joy, and I'm just pursuing my joy. And if that for some reason is irritating for him, then that's his own process.
And what you just said is perfect for boundary setting and just maybe saying that to him. Exactly how you just said it.
Right.
Yeah. I do this because it makes me feel happy. And I'm a better person when I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm actually a wonderful person when I'm happy and feeling joy. And guess what else? Everybody else is happy around me.
Yeah.
And if he says anything that's dark back, that's the best time to say, I'm just wondering where your happy is today. I found mine.
Right, yeah.
Do you know where yours is?
Yeah.
And leave it. Because he would take that away and think, because he's in his thinking mode.
Yeah.
And that's probably the best time to do it, when someone's in their thoughts. And when you say things like, I choose to be happy and I love the way I feel when I do things that make me feel good. And when I do that, I'm a better person for everyone, not just myself, but for everyone around me. That's why I do what I do. And say it with a smile, because feel it as you're saying it.
Yeah.
And it'll make you, when we do these things, we're very, very aware of others. We become very, very aware and where they're at. And we cannot step into someone's path and say you're wrong and I'm right. Because it's not fair on you, and it's not fair on them, because their path is their path. It's up to us to keep ourselves nourished, and the more we do that, the more we attract the high energy, what we're putting out, the love and the inner peace and the kindness and compassion. Those people will come before us.
Yeah.
And keep us thriving.
Yeah.
But it must start within us first.
Yeah. I think something I struggle with is like feeling worthy of happiness. You know, I feel like, you know, maybe it's for somebody else, and I guess I often like don't afford myself joy and happiness and peace.
And tell me why you don't do that.
I don't know. I guess like it comes from like a place of low self-esteem. You know, yeah. I guess it's, you know, coming from that place.
Okay, so if I was to draw a picture of a heart, okay, let's do a visual. If you could close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to visualize your beautiful, beautiful heart. Okay, go into your breath first, because we're going to invite Mother Nature into your body, into every cell, okay? Mother Nature is green. Plants, trees. Mother Nature, she provides us with our prana. So we're going to bring that beautiful pranic healing energy into your body. And now I'd like you to visualize your heart, the colour, the shape, whatever comes to mind is right for you. And just feel your heart, the colour, the shape, the feeling of your body, your cells being nourished, your heart being nourished through your breath. Your breath is healing. It's Mother Earth flowing to you and through you to bring you into your heart. Your heart is your gateway to your soul, to your spirit, your inner spirit. You are now connected to divine energy flowing to you and through you. Just feel that in your body. Feel the calmness. feel the inner peace. Just stay with it for a moment. Feeling your heart. Feeling the joy and the worthiness of the love you are receiving right now. When you allow divine energy, life force energy, and Mother Nature to come through you and to you. And now visualize yourself as a child, you're looking at the inner child of you, maybe 5 or 6 years old. You're looking in the eyes of the little you, and she's looking up at you. You're looking deeply into her eyes. Just feel her. Deeply looking into the soul of the little you, the inner child within you. I would like you to pick her up and hold her close to your heart. And just feel her. And look into her eyes. And either in your mind or out loud, say to her, I love you and you are safe, as you're holding her close to your heart. This is your inner child. She is in your heart. And now by making her the same size as your heart, just pop her into your heart and put your hand on your heart. And one more time in your mind or out loud, just say to your heart, I love you and I'm here for you.
I love you and I'm here for you.
And feel your heart, your inner child, the playful, the fun, the joy is now in your heart. Can you feel her?
Yeah, I can actually.
So that's who you are. There's where your joy and happy lies.
Wow, that was so amazing.